Luger P08, $2,000. The Pistol Parabellum or Parabellum Pistol, commonly known as just the Luger or Luger P08, is a toggle-locked, recoil-operated semi-automatic pistol. The Luger was produced in several models and by several nations from 1898 to 1949. The design was first patented by Georg Luger. It was meant to be an improvement of the Borchardt C93 pistol. The Luger was officially adopted by the Swiss military in 1900, the Imperial German Navy in 1906, and the German Army in 1908. The Luger was the standard service pistol of Switzerland, Portugal, the Netherlands, Brazil, Bolivia, and Bulgaria. It was widely used in other countries as a military service pistol and by police forces. In the German Army service, it was adopted in a slightly modified form as the Pistol Modell 1908 in caliber 9x19mm Parabellum. The Model 08 was eventually succeeded by the Walter P38. The Luger has a toggle lock action that uses a jointed arm to lock, as opposed to the slide actions of many other semi-automatic pistols, such as the M1911. After a round is fired, the barrel and toggle assembly travel roughly 13 mm rearward due to recoil, both locked together at this point. Though replaced, this firebrand weapon is a legendary piece of art, synonymous with the SS and German Army officers. It is the reminder of a bygone era, venerated for its connection with a time of great feats of heroism. Colt M1911, $1,000. John Browning, arguably one of the U.S.'s most iconic and talented weapon designers, designed what would become one of the most widely produced, copied, and recognizable pistols in history, now known today as the M1911. The M1911 is a single-action, recoil-operated semi-automatic pistol chambered for the .45 ACP cartridge. Though it made its combat debut during World War I, the design really came into its own during World War II. During that conflict, the design's worth was solidified. Millions of M1911s were produced for not only the U.S., but for other Allied countries as well. Post-war, the U.S. relied on the M1911 design during the Korean War and during Vietnam, though by the 1980s, the design was beginning to show its age. A replacement was found in Berettas' M9 pistol, chambered in the smaller 9x19mm Parabellum. Despite the widespread adoption of Beretta's small, higher-capacity pistol, the M1911 remained a mainstay in the Marine Corps among certain specialized groups like some reconnaissance units, as well as among some MEU SOC personnel. The pistol is incredibly robust, able to withstand a great amount of abuse, and remains reliable even after decades of serves and tens of thousands of rounds. The M1911 was widely copied, and this operating system rose to become the preeminent type of the 20th century and of nearly all modern centerfire pistols. It is popular with civilian shooters in competitive events such as the International Defensive Pistol Association and International Practical Shooting Confederation. And, despite no longer enjoying the widespread success that it once did as the U.S.'s standard-issue service pistol, the iconic M1911 design is still manufactured by Colt, as well as by a number of other firearm manufacturers in the U.S. and elsewhere abroad. Not too bad for a pistol originally designed at the beginning of the last century. M1 Garand, $2,000. Garand rifle, also called M1 rifle, semi-automatic, gas-operated 30-caliber rifle, was adopted by the U.S. Army in 1936. It was developed by John C. Garand, a civilian engineer employed at the Springfield Armory, Springfield, Mass. The Garand was the first semi-automatic military rifle used as a standard combat shoulder weapon. The M1 Garand was designed in 1924 and adopted in 1936 by the U.S. by equipping all its infantry, with the exception of one man in each squad who used a bolt-action rifle for precision shooting sniping, so that the American infantry was the only fully equipped nation on Earth with a semi-automatic rifle during the war. It was replaced by the M14 in 1957, but saw frontline service until 1965, and is still used by the American military as a drill and ceremonial arm. The M1 Garand is widely regarded by firearms enthusiasts and historians as the greatest and most respected American service rifle of all time. In a world of bolt-action Kar 98Ks, Carcanos, and Arisakas, the GI's semi-automatic M1 Garand rifle was a game-changer on the battlefield. Its higher rate of fire, higher magazine capacity, and fast reloading, combined with its accuracy and reliability, effectively provided overmatch to the enemy's bolt-action rifles. These features endeared it to the soldiers who carried it into harm's way. GIs loved it, the enemy respected it, and today, firearm collectors seek them out. M1 rifles remain hugely popular with both collectors and shooters, and it is not a replaceable art piece. Smith & Wesson Model 29, $1,400. Any old-school action film fan will instantly recognize the name. Clint Eastwood was the titular character in the opening scene to the original Dirty Harry film from 1971. The gun in question is also the original, i.e. the Smith & Wesson Model 29, the first gun chambered for the .44 Magnum cartridge. Let's take a look at this iconic revolver and cartridge combo. The Model 29 will chamber and fire .44 Special and .44 Russian cartridges, as the .44 Magnum was developed from the .44 Special and the .44 Special was developed from the .44 Russian. The Magnum case is slightly longer to prevent Magnum rounds from being chambered and fired in handguns chambered for the .44 Special. An unparalleled piece of deadly gadgetry, this baby will remain the star of your shelf if you hang on to it. Russian SKS rifle, $1,000. World War II changed warfare. Slowly, people realized that the full-powered bolt-action battle rifle was quickly becoming outdated. The Russians did more, then realized that bolt-action rifles were obsolete. They realized the benefits of an intermediate cartridge over a full-powered rifle cartridge. Within this new reality, SKS stands for Samorzatoronej Karabin Systemi Simonova and is a fascinating rifle. The SKS utilizes a gas-operated short-stroke gas piston system. This short-stroke piston is simple but robust and reliable in adverse conditions. The SKS uses a simplified system compared to the AVS-36 and is much more reliable. The SKS had a built-in bayonet. The firing pin design initially utilized a spring to capture it, but Russia eventually moved to a free-floating firing pin. The SKS weighed 8.5 pounds and was 40 inches long overall with a 20-inch barrel. It's a big rifle, but for the time, it was somewhat compact. It is an awesome rifle. Its simplistic design lacks the pizzazz and modularity of modern weapons for sure, but it's still fun to shoot. The little rifle might not have reached legendary status, but it's not a weapon to be underestimated in the hands of a skilled shooter, retaining its special status amongst gun enthusiasts. SVD Dragunov, $4,400. The SVD Dragunov rifle first appeared in 1963 and has been one of the most prized infantry trophies ever since. It is a semi-automatic weapon that uses the same operating principles as the AK-47 assault rifle, but is allied to a revised gas operating system. SVD Dragunov is a designated marksman rifle, mostly mistaken for a regular sniper rifle. The SVD has a long barrel, but the weapon is so balanced that it handles well and recoil is not excessive. The weapon is typically fired using a sling rather than the bipod favored elsewhere, and to assist aiming, a PSO-1 telescopic sight is provided. This is secured to the left-hand side of the receiver and has a magnification of ×4. The barrel breech is locked through a left rotating bolt and uses 3 locking lugs to engage corresponding locking recesses in the barrel extension. The rifle has a hammer-type striking mechanism and a manual lever safety selector. The SVD was only designed for semi-automatic fire. The firearm is operated by a short-stroke gas piston system with a 2-position gas regulator. The gas regulator can be set with the help of the rim of a cartridge. The rifle is fed from a detachable curved box magazine with a 10-round capacity, and the cartridges are double-stacked in a staggered zigzag pattern. Several military-issue alternative telescopic sights with varying levels of magnification and reticles are available for the SVD. You wouldn't want to face an enemy armed with one in combat. In most cases, due to sniper tactics and the rifle's ability, the soldier armed with one could maintain enough distance to lay down lethal fire while being out of range of soldiers armed with standard assault rifles of various types, setting its name in stone for your go-to sniper rifle. Beretta M9A4, $1,100. M9A4 RDO full-size DASA semi-auto pistol represents the pinnacle of Beretta M9 pistols. The M9A4 is now optics ready and features dovetailed tritium night sights with an incredibly clean trigger. The thin Vertec grip panels allow a large variety of hand sizes to get comfortable on the gun. The frame has an integrated Picatinny rail for a light or laser. Proudly built in the USA, the new M9A4 is designed to be ideal for any tactical situation, including home and personal defense, tactical competitions, and duty carry in any condition. Colt Python, $1,900. Known primarily as a duty, hunting, and target revolver, Colt reintroduced the Python in Guns and Ammo's April 2020 issue with the 41, 4, and 6-inch barrel configurations. First introduced with a 6-inch barrel, original series Pythons were eventually offered with 21 and 2, 3, 4, and 8-inch barrels. None were as common as the 4 and 6-inch barrel versions. The 3-inch remains the rarest of the previous generations of production Python revolvers. Hence, the 2022 reintroduction of this barrel length is a long-awaited return. In its introduction, Colt had to convince baby boomers and Generation X that its modern manufacturing lives up to the reputation of the once hand-fit Pythons. The Python is based on the medium-size I-frame, which is similar to the older E-frame, but with the firing pin mounted in the frame instead of on the hammer. The Python might seem like an unwieldy choice for everyday carry, even with an abbreviated barrel, but to many it makes perfect sense. Not everyone lives in suburbia, and there are still plenty of spaces where the threat from four-legged predators is as real as a threat from two-legged ones. As a defense system against predatory dangers from both sides of the animal kingdom, it's a firearm worth keeping. Glock G20, $700. It's a full-size gun chambered in a badass 10mm cartridge. It deserves some love too. Glock itself has a cool history, but we'll stick to just the G20 this time. In 1990, Glock released the G20, and just like that, one of the favorite 10mm hit the market. This specific model has been floating around for about 3 decades, and over the years it's gone through the expected changes of each generation. It's a 10mm, of course, and in classic Glock double-stack form. The G20 has a capacity of 15+1 and isn't really that heavy, even loaded. Its empty weight is 27.51 ounces, and its loaded weight is 39.86 ounces. The G20 has a 4.61-inch barrel, a height of 5.51 inches, and an overall length of 8.07 inches, so you're unlikely to use this one for concealed carry. The Gen 4 G20 is built to last, and last, and last. So don't make the mistake of letting go of this baby. Beretta 1301 Tactical, $1,500. This is the ultimate combat scatter shot. While there are a few different models of 1301 floating around, this is the version for anyone who wants a reliable semi-auto shotgun. It does a great job doing what a shotgun is supposed to do and eats up everything you could throw at it. Its design is one of a kind. The 1301's elongated handguard runs almost the length of the entire barrel. That chunky charging handle is kinda hard to miss. Admittedly, the 1301's oversized fire controls are one of the coolest parts of the shotgun. The new and improved Beretta 1301 Tactical Gen 2 model features enlarged controls, a cold hammer-forged backboard barrel, and the Beretta blink gas operation, allowing for 36% faster cycling than the competition. An oversized charging handle, large heavily textured bolt release, and oversized reversible safety button, these features make it easy to use in all weather or lighting conditions, due to its secure grip, even with gloves. The synthetic stock is adjustable for length of pull with provided spacers, to ensure a fit that will always come up naturally to your shoulder and point easily. A cold hammer-forged backboard barrel dissipates recoil away from the hand and greatly reduces muzzle flip. A handy fighting machine, it deserves pride of place in your cabinet. That's all we have for you, folks. Join us next time.